Hey everybody, my name is Josh Creason. I am the assistant pastor at South Charlotte Presbyterian Church, and I'm glad to be with you guys doing this weekly devotional. This is something Dean and I are going to do on a weekly basis for encouragement for our hearts and hopefully for your hearts as well as we are between Sunday services, especially as we're not with one another face to face. So we want to encourage our own hearts and your hearts in this time. Well, today I want to talk about Psalm 131. Psalm 131 is a song of ascent, and maybe you know what that means, but basically think of these as songs kind of like on the Israelite playlist on their road trip. As they're going up to the temple, they're going up to the festival, this would be one of the songs they would sing on their road trip. So think of it as part of the road trip playlist. But verse 2 struck me in this. It says, "But I have calmed and quieted my soul. Like a weaned child with its mother, like a weaned child is my soul within me." Two words caught me there. Maybe they caught you. Calmed and quieted. I don't know about you, but probably this past few weeks have not felt calm and quiet, especially maybe as you've gone to the grocery store to find something, or as you have now had to transition to working from the home. I know for me in ministry, I feel out of my rhythm. I'm not doing any more face-to-face stuff, doing all kind of video conferencing. It feels a little disorienting, and I'm now learning to do ministry in a different way through video conferencing. Let me ask you a question. What have you noticed about yourself in the past week or so? What frustrations have you felt? What anxiety have you felt? What fear? What restlessness? Sadness? Loneliness? And when you've felt these things, what have you done with it? Where have you gone with it? How have you sought to alleviate it? Psalm 131 talks about calming and quieting our souls. How have you sought to quiet your soul? Maybe you've tried and you've been unsuccessful. This time has definitely been disorienting and distracting for me at times as I'm learning a whole new rhythm. And I think I've found an addiction in my life where because of those things and those things that need to be done, and because of the new way of doing things now, that I don't really have a whole lot of calm and quietness in my soul unless I get these things done. And then I'll feel calm and quieted in my soul. But yet, there's always more things, right? There's always more things to do, always more things that need attention. So how do I calm and quiet my soul? How do you calm and quiet your soul? How are we to calm and quiet our soul? What does David tell us? Well, he tells us something interesting. He says, "I've calmed and quieted my soul like a weaned child." And that's interesting because I would expect him to say like a nursing child, right? The child's in her mother's arms and being held and drinking her mother's milk. But yet he says weaned child. In other words, some kind of growth has taken place where the child is no longer drinking the mother's milk but has graduated, so to speak, to baby food. There's been a growing up of sorts here. And not only that, but David has learned to soothe, or learned to self-soothe. There's a word for you, right? It's a word we don't use today. But you and I look to soothe ourselves when we are in disorienting and deregulated types of situations. We will look to something to soothe us. And the question is, what is it? What is that for you? And all things aren't bad in and of themselves, but yet they can become bad when they become like idols. They become those things that we're looking to in order to soothe and to satisfy us. And David, in this passage, is basically saying, soothe your soul with hope in the Lord. That's where verse 3 goes. Right after verse 2, which I just read, is verse 3, where it says, "O Israel, hope in the Lord." You see, David is telling us how to soothe ourselves, how to soothe our soul, has to do with hope in the Lord. It has to do with a patient waiting for what is guaranteed, what the Lord has given to us, that inheritance which waits for us. If you want to be soothed, David is saying, go here, go to hoping in the Lord, looking to Him. Well, that's great, Josh, but what does that mean? Well, practically speaking, maybe it means turning it off, shutting it down, walking away from it, and going and being with Jesus. Going and enjoying Jesus in His Word, talking to Him in prayer, meditating and thinking about His Word. What would happen if you just took the Psalms, maybe even this Psalm, and you just sat down with it and asked the question of, who is God in this passage? Who is He? What has He done? And to think about, ponder what all things He has done and what He's done for you in Jesus Christ. And to let those things overflow and overwhelm your heart so that you are thankful, so that you praise Him. That's really what I want to encourage you today, is to go and to be with Jesus, to soothe your soul with hope in the Lord. Don't soothe your soul with anything else, but soothe your soul with hope in the Lord by going and spending time with Him and meditating upon His Word. It's good to be with you guys. I hope you guys have a good week ahead of you, and we'll talk soon.